Hi, welcome back to Smut N Study podcast. I'm Amanda,
I'm Natalie.
and today we are talking about the
Book Phantom, which if
I
it's
don't know
new,
why I just froze. I'm like, what are we talking about?
we're talking about Phantom, and if you
Which
don't know, it's on our Kindles, guys. So, it's the new book from H.G. Carlton, and it's basically about uh
Gigi
Gigi,
and
yes,
Ronaldo.
and Ronaldo, which is her grandmother
Yeah,
or great grandmother. Is it her grandmother or great grandmother or just her grandma?
I think it's a great grandma.
Okay. Because I was like, now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, it was so written in so old, like, okay.
Yeah, because
So,
it's kind of during I guess you could consider this like a mafia
yeah,
romance or whatever. Because technically,
I liked it.
yeah, no, I like this book a lot too, and
Yeah.
it's definitely set back in like the older days, and he's like part of the Italian mob, you know. So,
We like that.
we're both Italians, so we're like eating this shit up with all the fucking.
Yeah.
I like how in the beginning of the book she literally has like this thing, and it's all like the old like sayings from like the Italian like mob people.
Oh,
just
yeah. Like, oh, this word means this means this. I thought that was cool.
I know.
I was
like,
I'm learning.
I'm eating this shit. This is Sopranos 2.0. But I also haven't read another like mafia romance, so I'm like, I like it. Yeah.
I think I've read like one other one, but that's it.
Yeah, it's
This
like
is-
capiche.
Yeah. This one was good. And we knew, like, if you read Haunting and Hunting, like, you knew her grandma or great grandma, like, basically had like a similar story because her mom had told her that like she just like went missing and didn't know what happened. And then she was living in her house basically and found like written stuff and had learned that she was having an affair, and she was like shut, like, I don't understand, blah blah blah. But now it's like her side of the story and like what really went on. And you're like, after you learn like the type of like man he was, you're like, yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
Because I
And
feel like
do you feel like you had to read Haunting and Hunting to understand this book?
no.
I feel like you don't have to, but then the little like snippet at the end of the book, you kind of would
Yes.
be lost because you're like, okay, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I think the ending was like my favorite. Like it was just sweet.
Yeah.
Like,
I kind of
honestly.
wonder, like, if I was to read this book and then reread Haunting and Hunting, like, if it would make like sense going
I don't
forward
know.
because like then you're reading like Gigi's notes in like real time.
That's
Not
true.
in real time, but you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it would kind of make more sense because
Yeah.
there was a part in this book where I felt like I was like, okay, did this happen in the other book or is this just
Yeah.
like totally different? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
We've read so many books since, but
I don't know.
you know, this is good because in the first book Addie was kind of, or in the other series, Addie was kind of wondering. She's like, okay, why would my grandma have like an affair? Like, and who was this man Ronaldo? Because it seems like it's the same scenario.
Yeah.
As like what happened
Very
with me.
close to home. For sure.
But I also like this too because like I felt like her outfits were like super like pin-up-y like type. Like she wore like polka dot dresses. And, like it was super cute.
I think it was just cool because I feel like a lot of books that we read, they're in today's sort of time, and so it was kind of cool that it was like that was like going on. And she like her grandmother literally was like basically a stay-at-home like mom and like wanted to go back to work, but he was like no, and like it was just very old school, like like you kind of did what like your husband said sort of situation. Yeah. And she just like cleaned the house and like
there's only so many people, there's only so many times you can clean a house. Only so many times.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not working. It's like, God damn, what do I do now?
No, I agree. You're like, help.
But I also laugh because like back then, like women, like they wanted to work and everything, and now like the girls now are like, I don't want to work anymore, maybe me included. But
yes, same. I'm like, I'll clean the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll cook a dinner. I don't care.
It does get old having to decide what you want to eat for dinner every day, though. So that I could see why women wanted to work back then. They're like, fuck, to come up with another meal. But anyway, back on track.
Our own personal lives, we're just like, we don't want to work anymore.
Yeah.
So anyways, getting back to the book, this story is basically about her grandmother, and exact same situation, a little bit different, but her grandmother's married, she has a daughter, and then she's just not happy like in her marriage, and she sits in front of a window in a rocking chair like every single day, and she journals about her life, and that's like the one thing that she does every single day. And all of a sudden, this man who again saw her one day and was like, "You're mine, I have to have you," um is like standing out in a tree in front of her window, like watching her. And at first she's like scared and she's like, what the heck is this? And then she starts looking forward to seeing the man every single day, and that he likes the way, or she likes the way he's looking at him, blah, 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 blah. And then it escalates to him entering the home, and she doesn't call the police, she doesn't run, she doesn't do any of these things. And then it's just like a build up and a build up until finally like they start like kissing and doing more things, and it's very similar. And then her husband just basically like has a gambling addiction and falls in with the mob, who we find out this guy works for, and it's just like a whole circle. And her husband just turns out to be like really, really shitty person and like lays hands on her, and it's like kind of sad, and she's like stuck, and then like all she cares about is like her daughter. And so like he'll be like, like, let me save you, like let me take you away, and she's just like, no, like not until my daughter's a certain age or whatever, like a few more years basically, which is like crazy to think that like, I mean, we're not condoning affairs, but like I feel like in this situation they do a really good job of making her husband a piece of garbage.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's just funny to me too, because she didn't realize that she was so unhappy in her life until she had met Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like she describes in the book, like she was just being like a good wife. You stay at home, take care of the children.
Yeah.
You cook, you clean, you do what the husband says. They have sex, but it always was like just more based for him.
Yeah.
So like she meets Ronaldo, and then he's like doing all these things to her, and she's like, "What in the hell have I been missing out on?"
Yeah, which I also thought was like crazy, because again, like it's so like old school, where it was like some of the things that he was doing to her, like she had never like had done, and he was like dumb, like she was like shocked that like he had like she had never been like treated that way, like in the bedroom. And I thought that was like wild. I'm like, could you just like imagine?
I also laughed too, because like for all these all these books, and like God bless the writers, it's just funny to me, but it's literally like, I've never like sucked a whatever before, and then it's like they're like pros for sucking. It's like and and the male character always has like a schlong.
Always.
Yeah. So it's like I just laugh because I'm like,
okay. It's so true.
Yeah, they're
it's
like,
so
oh,
true.
This is the best I ever
or
had,
within
even
like
though you've never done
or
it
within like
ever.
10 seconds the man's like, I can't handle it anymore, like it's too perfect. You're like, what? Okay. You're like, she's never
even seen a dick in her life. That's why I laugh in these books, because I'm like, it's always like the biggest dick. Every man is the biggest dick.
I'm dead.
And you're like, this is how you know it's fiction.
I'm actually deceased.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So there was a lot of firsts for Genevieve in this book. And I also liked how like on her notes, like she always wore like red lipstick, and like back in the day, I guess like the women always just try to look like perfect for their like husbands when they like came home. Like she always was done up and had like cute little outfits on, and like here I am in my house, like Jeff comes home and I'm like, no makeup on, baggy pants, big shirt.
Could you imagine like for like no reason at all every single day just being like, I have to like put my hair in curlers and put like a full face of makeup on, and she like sits in her home by herself all day until her husband comes home at like 5:30.
Yeah.
Like, what? That's crazy.
I know.
It's a lot of effort.
That's a lot of effort. Yeah.
For like
I know.
no one to see you.
I like look like a freaking gremlin.
Yeah.
Most of the day. Like this morning getting up and being like, oh, we're doing the podcast, I should probably put makeup on.
I did the same thing. I was like, I guess I should do my hair and like put something on my face, and yeah. wasn't fun. I was like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah. But I think that was a cute part to like mention in the book though, because that was like such like a staple back in the day, I feel like. And like even watching like TikToks, like some of these girls, like that Nara Smith girl, she's like wearing a whole ass like formal gown while making breakfast. And I'm like, is this actually your life or is this just TikTok? I don't know.
I have no idea.
But I mean, I feel like the ladies back in the day did do stuff like not a formal gown, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely like dressed up. Like they put like dresses on and stuff. I mean, even in the book, they describe like she never wore pants or shorts. Like she was always, it always said like
in a
she
dress,
was in some sort of like dress or whatever. But
and I also want to say like the risk that they took in that one part of the book where she goes to the mafioso head's house with her husband and Ronaldo's there, and then she goes to the bathroom and then her and Ronaldo are doing the deed in the bathroom, and I'm like, that is ballsy.
Yeah,
your husband right out there.
Yeah, it's also just ballsy that they're in the same room. Like you're just attending this
in the
function.
same existence. The affair, let's just step back, the affair is ballsy.
The whole thing, it's all ballsy.
Yeah.
Or the fact that like granted her husband is at work, but the fact that like
another man is coming into the house and literally being in there, and
and they're like naked and like doing it. I'm like, what if he got off work early or like left? Like, not like you have like cell phones and stuff like nowadays. Like you would just like never know until he was like unlocking the door.
Yeah,
like he could come home at any point. Like you have no idea where he is.
Or
like,
her daughter.
Or her
what
daughter.
if her daughter came home from school early? You know?
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't really think about that part. But I also,
there was a lot, like I feel like there were a lot of scenes where they were like doing it in the house, and I was like waiting for their shoe to drop. Like I was like waiting for her like husband to like come home or something, because it was like, you know, in the Haunting and Hunting books, it was kind of like the whole story was that like her grandmother, like Gigi, like disappeared, and they were like,
and
where did she go? And you're like, oh, did she die? Like I'm so confused. Like
you're kind of right now that you said that, because now that I'm thinking about it, there really wasn't like a mic drop like moment where you're kind of like, oh my god, like what's gonna happen. And like I kind of wasn't really happy with the way the book ended until I ended up reading the epilogue, and I was like, I love that part. But like the whole part where she goes on vacation with him and then like it just like ends, and I'm like, okay, what happened? Like what happens to her? Because doesn't like the best friend of the husband die?
Yeah, it was like a whole like it was like it skipped around. It was like this month, and then all of a sudden it was like, I don't know, it was like 2 years later. Like even when they went on vacation, it was like years difference, and you were like, okay, like all right. And then you
maybe
were kind
that
of
was
pissed.
the
It
point,
was just like a
to leave it like a mystery, or she's writing like another book.
Yeah, it was definitely left to like a mystery, because again, I think that I thought like I was like, oh, like they got murdered or something.
That's
for
what
like
I thought
having
too.
like this affair or whatever. And then, you know, the way they took like that vacation and stuff, and basically were like professing like each other's love and like how they'll always be together and stuff. And then it just like kind of ended, and you're like, okay, like you're still married, like what's happening? And then he's still in the mob, so like that's unsafe. Like you have all these surroundings of like unsafe, you know, things happening. But then like the epilogue, I thought was just like, that one was like really cute. I think that one, like I teared up a little bit just because I thought, I don't know, it was just like so cute. They like were just, you have to have read this book by now, if you're listening to it. But like the epilogue portion is literally like Zayd and Addie like being in the living room and like turning on like music or whatever, or the thing turning on itself. I can't really remember.
And then the ghost of like the house,
and the
like
ghost
dancing.
of like the house are dancing, and it's like her grandma and Ronaldo. And it's like their ghost, and it's like their song that they like. She
kept like hearing in the house. It gave you goosebumps.
Like,
and it was cute.
I was like, oh, you know, like don't know what happened to them. I mean, obviously, like, you know, they're dead now, but like, I don't know.
H.G. Carlton, I do have to say, in the last scene where she goes on vacation with him and he's literally like screwing her over the railing and she's about to fall into like the waterfall like thing hanging off the cliff. What is with you and doing this in your books? I don't know if people on this listening to this right now has also read her book, Does It Hurt?
Yeah.
Which
She
we'll
really
obviously
likes
talk about in one book. I mean, in one episode, but like, what?
she really likes like the life threatening sex.
Yeah.
She really
But like, I
likes
don't
the
know.
near the edge of things and near water and drowning and death, and I don't know. I think that was too. Again, you're just like,
That would
it's a
not.
public area.
Yeah, that would not
It's like daylight.
do it for me. I'd be like, I'm about to die, and the last thing that we were.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know. It's again all unrealistic. It's all fantasy.
Yeah.
Like it's just, but
this was definitely a really good book. It's a small book.
yeah,
I felt like I've read it in like a day, I think.
Yeah, it was very easy to read. It wasn't anything super deep.
Smutty.
Smutty.
Yeah.
I just thought it was like a cute story, and like I said, we really liked it because it was like mafia, and it was just like in like the 40s or 50s or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it was just.
I also like that this author, like she obviously with the Haunting and Hunting books, you meet all these characters, and then she did like little side like books for some of the characters, which I like because I feel like I've read some books and you actually fall in love with like a side character, and then you're kind of like, okay, well, what happened to them? Like the book ended, but like I don't know what happened to these people, and I would like to know.
Which is really frustrating because I feel like a lot of series and books make you fall in love with a lot of the side characters, and they put so much effort and time to make you fall in love, and then you don't really get like anything from them, like any story or anything like that. You're like, okay, what a bummer.
I know, you're like, I have a lot of questions.
Yeah. Questions and concerns. Thank you very much.
That's just me with every fantasy book. I'm like, all right, what happened? But this was a good book, and like we said, you probably could read this before you read Haunting and Hunting, or you could do it the way we did it. I mean, we didn't really have an option, but
it didn't exist.
Yeah, it didn't exist at our time.
Yes, it definitely was an easy read, a nice book. I think I rated it like 3 or 4 stars. I don't know. It wasn't everything like groundbreaking, but I thought it was sweet, and
you just get to learn a little bit more about Gigi. We still don't know what happened, if they got murdered or whatever.
We didn't really learn a whole lot, but we learned something.
Yeah.
So,
thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.